Hello, everybody. In today's report, I'm going to be talking about the decriminalization of hard drugs in the province of British Columbia, where I live here in Canada. So, this is what they're calling a pilot project, and we are the lucky ones. We're the lucky province here in Canada to be so fortunate to have a trial for 3 years. And here it states it's from January 1st, 2023 until January 31st, 2023 until January 31st, 2026. So 3 years they will decriminalize hard drugs. That includes meth, cocaine, and any kind of other hard drugs that you can think of that people snort or inject will now be basically legalized in British Columbia, Canada, starting 2 days ago. So here it says Health Canada granted an exemption from the Controlled Drugs and Some Substance Act to the province of BC. And why are we decriminalizing personal possession of some drugs? They say it's a critical step in BC's fight against the toxic drug crisis. And I'll break it down because what's happening is they seem to be following suit with Portland, Oregon, that actually has done the exact same thing. I think it's about 2 years ago. I have the articles and I'll show you that in a minute. But of course, it's not going the way they planned. Surprise, surprise. So here it states the illegal drugs covered by the exemption are opioids, such as heroin, morphine, and fentanyl, crack and powder cocaine, meth, and ecstasy. So all the goodies, any kind of hard drug that basically destroys your life is now legal to possess in British Columbia if it's under a certain amount, and that amount is 2.5 grams or less. And the thing is, they will not even take that. It says here they're not subject to criminal charges, and the drugs are not seized. So if a cop pulls you over and you have that in your possession while driving or walking or whatever, hey, you're free to go, clear to go. Crazy times to be alive when they're worried about decriminalizing hard drugs. And if you've seen any of my other videos, um, you will notice that I've done a couple videos on the downtown east side and showing you basically it looks like anything up and down the west coast or even the east coast, where there's basically camps everywhere, people living in tents right on the street and in parks and just pretty much everywhere. And these are the people that are consuming all of these hard drugs. Not just them, but the homeless population is a huge majority of drug users for sure. But it's illegal if you're under 18 not to possess that. Wow, you're doing a good job, BC government. Make sure the under 18s are illegal, but everyone else can shoot up wherever the hell they want. Makes a lot of sense. Wow. So it says here these drugs are not legalized and they will not be sold in stores. It makes you wonder though, right? Because marijuana was the same thing. You know, it was illegal, then they decriminalized it, then eventually, hey, let's open up stores. We can get tax money and make a profit. So the BC government became drug dealers selling marijuana and all those edibles and stuff like that. You got to wonder if this is the exact same approach they're going to do with this. And you know what? Nothing would shock me at this point because we're not dealing with people who are running this province or this country or this world for our best interest. That's for sure. So here, our former mayor of Vancouver states that decriminalizing possession of drugs is a historic and it's brave. Is this inclusive too? And groundbreaking step in the fight to save lives from the poisoned drug crisis. So how exactly are they going to be saving lives when they are basically legalizing these hard drugs? How does that save lives? I don't understand. And of course, he could not be more proud of the leadership shown here by the governments of Canada and British Columbia. Yay, we're so proud we're legalizing hard drugs, cocaine, meth, fentanyl. That's so progressive, that's so inclusive. Crazy people run this planet. Crazy people run this province. And if you're wondering, if you're thinking that's a good thing, well, because it'll clean up the drug supply here in Vancouver so people won't die. What you need to understand is we've already been doing that here in British Columbia, Canada for a while. We have, it's called a clean supply, and that's basically paid for by taxpayers' money. and you can go into different shoot-up centers, shoot-up alleys, or whatever they call them, and you can inject yourselves with fentanyl. I don't know what other drugs they have there, but you can go in there, and it's a safe supply, they say. Here's an article from the New York Times. You know, we're famous around the world now for all the wrong reasons, not only because of our clown clown leader Castro there, Justine Castro, but we're also famous. We're in the New York Times because of our very open policy and inclusive policy for drug use. Here it states that they talk about a guy named Chris, and he no longer spends all his days walking in a frantic scramble looking for money and other stuff to scrape up cash to pay a deal. He won't get arrested, he won't overdose, he won't die. He goes to a fentanyl dispensary in Canada, here in Vancouver where I live, and he can get all the drugs he wants. And you know, they're supposed to pay for it, but if they don't have the money to pay for it, they get a free supply of fentanyl. But it's a safe supply, because we have to be inclusive, and this has been going on for a while. So for them to decriminalize these drugs, I don't understand how it's actually going to help anything. There's already a safe supply of fentanyl available from the province of British Columbia, the government of British Columbia, for free. So how's this going to help? Oh yeah, it's going to make things 10 times fucking worse. That's what it's going to do, isn't it? That's what it's going to do. They say it's an approach to reducing deaths and severe illness from illicit drugs. But you know what? The deaths, the last time I checked, there was actually more deaths from fentanyl overdoses than clownvid. So more people are dying from overdosing from drugs. I'm not saying it's from the government supply, but just in general. And there's more people dying from fentanyl and drug overdoses than there are dying from clownvid, which was a big part of our life for 3 years. Once again, welcome to Clownada. Then it goes on to state that Chris, that's the drug addict, he can receive pharmaceutical grade fentanyl through the dispensary, which sells to those who can pay, and provides free drugs through the program's operational budget to those who cannot. Of course, they state that Vancouver's experience of government support and are paid for by the public health system, and on the expectation that they will save lives, but also taxpayers' dollars. Total bullshit. It's a war zone down there. It's pure hell downtown east side of Vancouver, Canada. And now, of course, like I said already, they've decriminalized hard drugs. And all we have to do is look at another city, another state in the United States of America that did the exact same thing 2 years ago, and what are their results? So here we have, of course, an article from Oregon. Their drug decriminalization effort is a tragedy. And that was written June 15, 2022, about 6 months ago. And they say it's a tragedy. Let's see what they mean by that. So it's here, heroin, meth, and fentanyl are rampant throughout the city. In November 2020, voters passed a Drug Addiction Treatment and Recovery Act that secured 58% of the votes and decriminalized possession of small amounts of hard drugs. Exactly the same thing as we're having for the last 2 days that it started here in British Columbia, Canada. So it says here 16 months after the experiment, the numbers paint a bleak picture. Drug overdoses hit an all-time high in 2021 with 1,069, a 41% increase from 2020 when the project was started. And of course here, the treatment policy has not worked. Less than 1% of those have been helped by Measure 110. But the actual number may be even lower. Surprise, surprise. It is predictable, was predicted, and now unfortunately is coming to pass in front of our eyes, says Murray. David Murray is a senior fellow in the Hudson Institute who advised drug czars into 2 different presidential administrations. Basically, he's stating that it was wrong, and of course, the clowns and donkeys that run this province running headfirst into this, not realizing. And you know what? I think this is all, honestly, I gotta be really blunt with you. I think this is completely planned. I think they want this to happen. I think this will just escalate the decay of the downtown east side. It'll escalate and basically throw us into more of a dog-eat-dog type of society here in Vancouver. And this is in my opinion, this is the actual reason they're doing this. They do not care about the drug addicts, or else they would have. One of the things they would have done is left Riverview Mental Hospital open, because a lot of these people have mental health issues. There's nowhere for these people to go if they have mental health issues. Give them all the free drugs they want. They don't have to pay for it. But mental health, now we just want you to get completely cracked out and maybe you'll die, but we don't care. And we're going to use taxpayer dollars to fund all of this crap that we're dealing with. Goes on to state here, District Attorney Kevin Barton of Washington County, Oregon. What we're absolutely seeing is that drug possession has been decriminalized, property crimes have increased, and so has violent crime. So once again, all of this is going to be coming to Canada, Vancouver, British Columbia, because this started, and the thing is, obviously we've got the crime and we've got the violent crime already, and property crime, but this is just going to make it worse because now drugs are legal. And as you can see, from all we have to do is look from the examples, and the perfect example is a state and a city that just decriminalized hard drugs 2.5 years ago in 2020. So are we learning from them? Oh yeah, we're learning exactly how to be a hellhole, just like Portland, because Vancouver is just it's not as bad as Portland, but it's just going down that same route. It's garbage, it's just junk. The whole West Coast has been destroyed, from California right up to British Columbia. It's the same policies. Doesn't matter if I'm in Canada, it's the same exact policies destroying this continent of North America. And here it states that Portland, the largest city, all-time record with 90 murders in 2021. So record murders in 2021 after the drugs were decriminalized. Not saying it's all because of that, but decriminalizing drugs is not going to help anything. It will not help anything. You have to figure out the cause of the situation. You don't just like, oh, well, we got to keep them alive. Well, why are they taking drugs? They need mental help. They need physical help, right? There's a bunch of different reasons. We're relying on our leaders to figure it out, but they're letting us down constantly. But the thing is, these people do not work for us. We understand that they work for the New World Order, World Economic Forum. They don't work for us at all. They are simply puppets putting in agendas for certain reasons, and it's never for the benefit of the middle class or any person in this province or country or world, ever. And here, the Daily Mail wrote an article about the problems in Portland as well, saying that they resembles an open-air drug market after decriminalizing hard drugs. Overdose deaths skyrocket by 41% in the Democratic-led city. Here's some pictures. These basically resemble what I'm seeing here in Vancouver. This kind of stuff everywhere. People camping on the streets. Part of it is mental health issues, and definitely part of it is the overpriced real estate in this country, and specifically here in Vancouver. This kind of stuff, people just sleeping in the weirdest positions, like bent over. They just look like the Walking Dead. It's just crazy. All this kind of stuff, I've seen all of this kind of stuff downtown Vancouver. This is completely normal to Canada now. Completely normal. And here, even globalist news, some of the biggest lying parasites in Canada, they even admit it's all about survival. Mixed reviews of drug decriminalization as Oregon nears 2-year mark. And that was just written in December of 2022. And this is we're just getting started here, so things are not going to get better. They want a free-for-all society. They want chaos, right? Order out of chaos, and this is exactly what they need in order to bring in more control eventually. They want to let everything go to hell, so you beg them for a solution. Meanwhile, they're the ones who created the problem in the fucking first place. It's so stupid. It's pathetic. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed to be from Vancouver. The way it is now, wow. And the way it's been for the last 3 years, and during Clownvid is another embarrassment. But overall, this is a country in decline. It's a city in decline, a province in decline. If you know what's good for you, I don't recommend coming to this province or Vancouver. Overpriced, and it's turning into just one big ghetto. And I'm just going to leave off with this, a couple of statements. This is not the kind of society I want my kids to grow up in. All the propaganda being pushed to destroy their minds, online, offline, in school. And then you have this. Is this a government that cares about us? This is the kind of stuff. So now that my kids, as soon as they turn, my daughter's 16, so in a couple of years she can go out and, if she finds a drug dealer, she can get meth or, fentanyl or heroin or coke, and she can do it. And there's going to be a certain amount of people that will just try it since it's legalized now. And will they get hooked as a result of the government's laws? Maybe, maybe not. But what kind of signal is that sending to our youth, decriminalizing all of these harder drugs? And I really wonder what's at play here. I understand that they, in my opinion, they want to basically destroy Western countries, and this is another way they can do it. But another token, maybe they want to decriminalize it and eventually legalize it so they can make money off of this, because they've legalized everything else. Marijuana, they've legalized gambling. So the next step is to legalize hard drugs. Will they do that? We'll find out. But anything is possible in Clownada here in Clownville, Clowncouver. That's all I got to say, guys. Thanks for watching this report. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, leave a comment below, and share this video all over social media. Signing off. Real Truth Report. Catch you next time.